Hello, in this video I'm going to explain how to subtract 2 and 3-digit numbers. This is part 2 or practice 2 of the video series. So here we have a subtraction problem. So number 1 we have 76 minus 42. Okay, so we start with the rightmost digit. So we have 6 minus 2 is 4. And then we have 7 minus 4 is 3. So pretty straightforward. No borrowing here like some of the previous videos. So here our answer is 34. There will be borrowing later on in this section here. Okay, so now we have a 3-digit problem. 684 minus 372. We start with the rightmost digit. 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 7 is 1. 6 minus 3 is 3. Again, straightforward. So our answer is 312. So now we have a horizontal subtraction. So when they say find the difference, they mean subtraction. The difference between two numbers. How far are they different? And we find that out by subtracting. So we have 88 minus 48. So redo these numbers into vertical format. So the 88, the leftmost number, goes first. And then the 48 goes below there. We subtract. So now we have 8 minus 8. Well, that leaves us with nothing, so 0. And then 8 minus 4 is 4. So our answer is 40. This is somewhat similar. They're still horizontal subtraction problems. It's just now that they're 3 digits long. So not a big difference in the way we're going to do this. The rightmost number goes on top. The leftmost number goes on top. The rightmost number goes on the bottom. And we subtract. 1 minus 0 is still 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. 9 minus 8 is 1. So our answer is 131. Okay, so now we're going to start borrowing. We have to borrow for some of these problems coming up. And the reason we have to borrow is because we have 5 minus 9. If the top number is smaller than the bottom number, we have to borrow. So we borrow from the next digit to the left. So we cannot take 9 from 5. There's not enough 5s to take 9 from. So we have to borrow a 1 from this number here, this 9. So we're going to slash this 9 out. This becomes an 8 because we're going to borrow 1. And the one that we borrowed comes here in the front and makes this a 15. Now, some people do it this way. Some people just slash out the 5 and write 15 on top. Either way works. It's the same situation. So see, now we have 15 here, which is more than 9. So we can definitely subtract these numbers. 15 minus 9 is 6. And then we come over to the tens column. 8 minus 1 is 7. So our answer is 76. All right, so we have another subtraction problem. 548 minus 189. So we're going to start from the rightmost digit. And notice that the 8 is smaller than 9, so we cannot subtract this the way it is. Instead, we have to borrow from the next digit to the left. So we have to borrow 1 from the 4. The 4 becomes a 3. And then the 8 becomes an 18. Because 18 is bigger than 9, we can subtract now. 18 minus 9 is 9. Then we have 3 minus 8. Again, 3 is too small, so we cannot subtract. So we have to borrow from the next digit to the left. We're going to borrow from the 5. The 5 becomes a 4. And then the 3 turns into a 13. So we have 13 minus 8, and that gives us 5. And then we have 4 minus 1, that's 3. So our answer appears to be 359. Next problem, we got 84 minus 65. Put the 84 on top. Put the 65 on the bottom. Subtract. 4 minus 5, we cannot subtract. 4 is too small. So we got to borrow from the next digit. The 8 becomes a 7. The 4 becomes a 14. And this 14 came from the fact that we borrowed 1 from the 8. So this is a 14 now. So 14 minus 5 is 9. Then 7 minus 6 is 1. So the difference is 19. We have a 3-digit number, 684 minus 57. The leftmost number goes on top, 684. And the rightmost number goes on the bottom. And make sure it's right aligned. So the 7 goes here and the 5 goes here. Okay, the numbers have to be right aligned, which means the ones columns line up, tens column line up, hundreds line up, and so on. So now we have 4 minus 7. 4 is too small for 7, so we got to borrow from this number here. So the 8 becomes a 7. Then the 4 turns into a 14. So now we have 14 minus 7, and that gives us 7. And then we have 7 minus 5. Now notice we don't have to borrow from the 6 here because 7 is the same as 5 or bigger than 5. So, it's bigger than 5. We don't need to borrow. So we have 7 minus 5, and that's 2. And then here we have 6 minus nothing, and that's still 6. So our answer appears to be 627. Okay, so more subtraction problems. 70 minus 53. Subtracting on the right side, we have 0 minus 3. So we cannot subtract that because 0 is smaller than 3. So we have to borrow from the 7. We got to borrow 1 from the 7. The 7 becomes a 6. The one that we borrowed from the 7 makes this a 10. Just by simply putting the 1 in front of the 0 makes it a 10. So now we have 10 minus 3, and that's 7. And then here we have 6 minus 5, and that's 1. So our answer is 17. 304 minus 17. Make sure the numbers are right aligned. So we begin by subtracting the ones digits. 4 minus 7, we cannot do that. We got to borrow from the next digit. But notice that this is 0, and we cannot borrow from 0 because it has nothing to give. So we have to go to the next number and borrow. So we borrow from the 3 becomes a 2, and what happens is the 1 comes here and temporarily makes this a 10, temporarily. Because this is a 10, now we can borrow from the 10, and the 10 becomes a 9, and the 1 that we borrowed from the 10 comes over here and makes this a 14. So you borrow by going to the left 1 digit at a time, and then you come back 1 digit at a time. So don't jump from here to here. You got to go from here to here to here. Okay, so we have 14 minus 7 is 7. 9 minus 1 is 8. 2 minus nothing is still 2. So our answer appears to be 287. So this is a problem here where some students have issues with when you have a couple of zeros on top. But it's pretty similar to what we just did in the last problem. 900 minus 252. So 0 minus 2. We cannot subtract. We have to borrow from the next digit. But we can't because it's 0. There's nothing to borrow from. So we got to go to the next digit. So the 9 becomes an 8. The 1 that we borrow from here temporarily makes this a 10. Because this is a 10, we can borrow from the 10. The 10 becomes a 9. And then the 1 that we borrow from here makes this a 10. Now this stays as a 10 because we're not going to borrow from this since there's no other numbers to the right of this digit, right? We're done. I mean, there's nothing else to the right of this digit. So this is going to stay as a 10. This turned into a 9 because we had to borrow from the 10 for this number. That's why this is a 9. So we have 10 minus 2, and that's 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. 8 minus 2 is 6. So our answer appears to be 648. Next problem, we got 905 minus 377. We cannot subtract this. The 5 is too small for the 7. We got to borrow from the next number, which is 0, but we cannot do that. So we got to borrow from the 9. The 9 turns into an 8. The 0 temporarily turns into a 10. Because it's a 10, we can borrow from the 10. This becomes a 9. The 1 that we borrow from here turns this into 15. So now we have 15 minus 7, and that's 8. 9 minus 7 is 2. 8 minus 3 is 5. So our answer is 528. Okay, and our last problem coming up. $703 minus 364. Put the leftmost number on top, the rightmost number on the bottom, and subtract. 3 minus 4, can't do. Got to borrow from the next number, it's 0, can't do. Got to borrow from the 7, 7 becomes a 6. And then the one that we borrowed from here makes this a 10 temporarily. Because it's a 10, we can borrow from the 10. The 10 becomes a 9. And then this becomes a 13. Okay. So now we have 13 minus 4, and that's 9. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 6 minus 3 is 3. So 339 should be what they're looking for. Okay. So this is how you perform multi-digit subtraction. I hope you liked the video. If you like my content, click the like button, post your comments, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.